Well, so now time for AM Talk, and I have my guest in the studio, a legal practitioner, Alex Afenyo-Markin, Member of Parliament for Efutu. He's here. Thanks for joining me, Alex.
Thanks for having me here. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, and nice having you too. And John Jinapo is a Member of Parliament for Yape Kusogu, a former Deputy Minister of Energy. And thanks for joining me, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, let's start with some pictures and stories that already have dominated the media cycles this morning about a historic meeting put together by current President Akufo-Addo with his predecessors. And I have to start with you. How historic really is this?
Well, this is the first time that a certain president has managed to bring all former leaders together. I'm sure former President Kufuor tried. You recall that he instituted, this national awards that he tried at the time to even get the opposition members honored, to the extent that former Vice President, late Professor Mills, and President Rawlings were to participate, but saying was boycotted. I also recall that when President Mahama took over after the unfortunate demise of Professor Mills, he announced that he was going to engage the former leaders. That did not also really materialize. But I also recall that former President Mills, of blessed memory, had also attempted this. At least on one occasion, he was able to meet President Kufuor, but it wasn't a forum where President Kufuor and President Rawlings were together with him at the castle. So, to the extent that, in spite of all the political disagreements, these former leaders agreed to sit together with the current president, it's enough suggestion that our democracy has attained some level of maturity. I have always held a view that the way for Ghana's survival is not through extremist views and extremist approach. We must be coming to the center, be moderate. You may disagree seriously on issues, but you should still find space. That is what has given room for our European brothers to manage their democracy. You may disagree. You will certainly disagree on matters of principle, ideology, but there should still be space for parties to engage each other. So I agree with the media reports that indeed this was historic, but there is also a signal being sent out there to all our followers, those from Yapegu Kusogu, did I get it right?
Yeah.
Those from Efutu, those from Nkranza, those from Okaikwe Central, those from Damango, etc., should understand that we are in this political enterprise not to hack each other to death, not to malign each other, but to compete on ideas. So if you are the grassroots and you don't want to see eye to eye with your brother or sister who is an MPP or NDC, yesterday you got an answer that President Mahama, whom you so love, Nana Akufo-Addo, whom you so love, both are able to sit together. How come you are unable to sit with your fellow NDC or MPP member? People are being ejected from their houses after elections. People are being thrown out here and there. People are facing all manner of attacks, all because of political opinion. But at least yesterday, our leaders demonstrated to all of us that we should do away with our extremist approach to the politics. Again, the focus was that, look, I want to tap into your wisdom. A good initiative. I'm sure that closed door, 2-hour closed door, they didn't come out to tell us what but the fact that they came out hearty tells you that at least as mature politicians, they had the opportunity to point out things that were perhaps going right and commend the president on, and things that were not going right. I'm sure that one of the issues that would come to the fore would be this Delta Force or this young men in our party, their rampage and all that. I'm sure that certainly would come to the fore. And I'm also happy that even if it did, I mean, which I believe strongly it did, the swift manner that government or state institutions have dealt with this matter gives us confidence that in future, nobody should think that, yes, my party has won, I should take the law into my hands and misbehave. It would not only embarrass you, it would embarrass the state and embarrass your party, and it will bring down the image of the party. So it's not a healthy thing, and I'm sure that if these things came out, which I'm positive it did, Nanado would have given them the assurances that he is in control, and he would ensure that the right things are done going forward.
Well, John. Show of unity.
I can only add my voice to my big brother. I do know, as spokesperson to former President Mahama, that he had several meetings with former leaders. First of all, we did not put that out formally. Two is that the difference is that this time you're having all former heads of states sitting with the president at one meeting. I do know that President Mahama engaged the former leaders one-on-one, consulted them, because certainly, as has been alluded, all of them have some level of experience, some ideas and some knowledge that I'm sure can be brought to bear to support the sitting president. The fact that we went into a very difficult, tight election does not mean that we are not Ghanaians. And so after the election, it's only proper that we begin to engage amongst ourselves. And I do know that very critical issues were raised at the meeting. Key amongst them had to do with security, the state of insecurity that seemed to be creeping into our body politics, how to arrest that, and also deal with the issues. The symbolism of it is also good. It tells us that we are one people after all. It is my hope that this will transcend and not just be at the top, that at various levels, various departments, various agencies, we should not find it difficult consulting former appointees for clarity and to elucidate on some issues that are of concern to us. But beyond the photoshops and all that, we want to see concrete work on the ground.
Meaning what?
For instance, I want to feel safe driving my Land Cruiser.
Why is anybody threatening you?
I've had several of my colleagues being apprehended, being accosted, their vehicles legitimately acquired with their own resources, confiscated and towed to the Flagstaff files, people's house being broken into. Your station is reported on most of these issues. I think that the essence of democracy is to improve on the entire governance structure and system. Yes, we might have had that in 2000, we might have had that in 2008, we might have had that previously, but I am of the view that as we continue to advance in our democratic dispensation, some of these unfortunate incidents ought to be reducing, if not completely put in the back burner. But I do not want to rehash so many of the things. There's been quite some very disturbing incidents in the body politics of this country since the NPP took over. They themselves recognize that, look, it's a matter of concern, even though some minority within their party have sought to justify the action of the invisible forces, sought to justify the action of the Delta forces, and all those other vigilante groups. It would appear that a majority of the party who are quite sober and level-headed believes that that's not the best way to go. The president himself has condemned it, but I've said that the president ought not just join us in condemning it. We can condemn it, but the president must put word to action so that we can conduct our day-to-day activities in peace and harmony. At least if we can't enjoy anything, as for the peace, let's have it. Fuel prices might go up, lorry fares are up, there are some difficult situations here and there. We'll learn how to cope with that. But the state of security is utmost and paramount. And so let me commend the former heads of states and the sitting president. It is my hope that all the issues they raised would be taken into consideration, and we can all fashion out a better Ghana for us going forward as a country.
We'll see how that goes. But let's move on to some of the other issues that had been happening while this meeting was taking place. The minority in Parliament called for a full-scale parliamentary inquiry into an allegation of a conflict of interest situation leveled against the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, concerning the recent issuance of a $2.25 billion domestic bond issued by government. It is the case of the minority that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, in quote, cooked the bond for his friends and cronies, as well as in the process breaching, we're told, constitutional articles. And we would want to take you to that press conference, and then we'll be back and do the discussions on that.
Finance did not, however, name any company or individual that participated in the sale, except to say that the issuance attracted a number of global portfolio investors, including a very substantial investment in the 15-year bond by a very well-respected global financial investor. So let me say that the issue did not attract a lot of investors. It was cooked for one investor. Yes. Reuters subsequently reported that a senior government official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said Franklin Templeton had participated in the sale. According to the report, Franklin Templeton, high-profile bond fund manager Dr. Michael Hessenthal, has taken a substantial position in Ghana's cedi-denominated government bonds. Franklin Templeton Investment Limited is an American global investment management organization founded in 1947. In an unaudited financial semi-annual report of Franklin Templeton Investment Limited, dated 31st December 2016, you can find it on the internet, Honorable Trevor J. Travgan was named as one of the 5 board of directors of the firm. He was also described as the chairman of the Enterprise Group Limited in the report. Enterprise Group Limited has 10 board of directors. Principal among them was Mr. Kelly Gajepo, Group Chief Executive of Enterprise Group, Dr. Angela Ofori-Atta, who is the wife of the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. Who doubles? Who doubles? Can I take that again? Because Trevor happens to be a board member of Templeton. And we checked, and straight away after checking, you notice that under their unaudited financial statement, it has an address that leads to Ghana. Surprisingly, the information is now available in the public domain. Appears to indicate that Honorable Trevor J. Travgan is not just a board chairman of Enterprise Insurance Limited, a company owned partially by the current finance minister, and his company, Data Bank Limited. In fact, for the purposes of the record, Data Bank owns Enterprise Group as at 31st December 2015, when we checked. They own the bank, Enterprise Group, by 39.6%. It's conflict of interest. So I want to take you into the conflict of interest situation. Honorable Trevor J. Travgan is also a director of Franklin Templeton, which is the main participant in the recent bond issue. Putting this apparent fact together, we have reason to believe that there was a relational interest between our finance minister and his good friend, Trevor J. Travgan.
John, I saw you there.
You were in blue. I was there in blue.
Looking elegant for an MP on recess, right?
Yes, you can see that I'm a bit more casual.
Yes.
So,
are these wild allegations? Or
these are not wild allegations. These are serious issues of national concern. These are serious issues that should elicit some debate and some interest.
why?
If you appoint people to man the affairs of this country, they are required to do so in a transparent manner. They are supposed to do so with some fiduciary requirements. This is not the first time we've gone to the capital market to raise bonds. The first question you ask yourself is, what has been the practice? The practice is that we will normally open the window, open the market for about 3 days. And so when the finance ministry decided to do that within hours and close the window, it naturally raised suspicion, because that has not been the practice. The practice is that you open it up, allow for as many investors as possible. Following that, the finance ministry issued a statement that they've raised, I think, a $2.25 billion equivalent bond over, I think, 10 years and 15 years with a coupon rate of 19.7% thereabout, if my memory serves me right, and I believe so. They did not give us details. They just issued a statement that it was successful, they've raised this amount, and that is it. So we took it upon ourselves to conduct some research. So we went to the various institutions and got information. And to our surprise, we realized that Franklin Templeton, which is a US company, bought as close as 95% of the bond. And so naturally,
95% of the bond.
95%. One company. 95%. So wow, that is curious. Who are those behind the company? That was when Trevor's name popped up. And so we commissioned some research. Who is Trevor? He took a substantial stake in the bond. Who are his associates and all that. And so we realized that he was a board chair for Enterprise Group. And lo and behold,
Enterprise Group Ghana.
Yes, when we checked, the finance minister, the wife, Mr. Gejego, I think the attorney general, all of them popped up as directors. And so when you do the trend, you then begin to ask yourself, why would you open the window for only some few hours and shut the window and not allow other investors to participate? Why would Trevor's company take 95% of the shares? We believe that if they had opened it for the 3-day period or more, a lot more investors would have brought proposals. There would have been much competition, and eventually would have gotten a lower coupon in terms of the interest payment. So it means that you could have gotten a better tenor, better conditions than just closing it up. It's just like when you go for to buy a product and you decide not to visit so many markets. You might
window
be
shop in a way.
Yes, window
compare
shop
prices.
or compare prices. And so these are serious issues that we have raised, given the fact that Trevor has business links with no less a person than our finance minister. They own same company. They are into investments, and you find them investing in this. And in the US, this will become a very serious issue for them to investigate. What are the relations? Very serious issue. And
how is that a conflict of interest situation?
We said it provides the grounds for a potential conflict of interest.
How does that provide the potential grounds?
When somebody who invests in the bond has direct business relation with the finance minister, with the wife, with the attorney general, it provides a source and grounds for suspicion.
Franklin Templeton, right?
That's the company.
Yes. We're told that this is not the first time they are taking interest in our bonds.
Yes. If you come to do business with me, it may be considered as normal. But if my direct brother comes to do business with me,
even if I have a history of doing business,
it's only proper that we raise the issues for further inquiry, for further scrutiny. And I think that we ought to be commended that we are raising these key issues. We are not saying don't come and do business with us. We've raised other issues with the way the business was done.
So your difficulty is not about the company's history of doing business with Ghana, but rather the way this time this transaction was.
Our difficulty are basically in two parts. One, the way and manner the transaction was conducted. Two, the fact that the current finance minister has some links or association with Trevor. So we're saying that let's investigate. Let's ensure that, look, there's transparency. Let's ensure that we do the right thing. And I think that that's commendable.
That's
curious, won't you say, Mr. Afenyo-Markin?
Well, let me address the issue of conflict of interest.
Yes, sir. You're a lawyer, so.
As a matter of principle, in raising issue of conflict of interest, the elasticity must be such that you can link the chain of events and sufficiently allege same. Now, for the record, the finance minister isn't a director of enterprise insurance. True. For the record, the learned attorney general isn't a director of enterprise insurance as we speak. 3, Data Bank does not own enterprise insurance. Data Bank has some shares, and I'm happy that they said they have about 39%. Hold on, you've asked me a question. When you talk about ownership in company law, it's a matter of fact that, look, if you have ownership, that means that you have substantial shares.
Only substantial and not
that is a matter of law. Please check it. I'm not speaking from my head.
No, you're a lawyer. So.
No, so I'm telling you that.
And I'm a layperson.
Very well. So I'm telling you that in company law, if you say somebody owns, if I come here and I say I own multimedia, I am suggesting to you that I have more than 50%. That is when I have commanding control.
So what about the minority share?
No, it doesn't make you an owner. You have interest. Let's get the facts. I mean, if we want to educate the public, we can do our politics. But if we want to argue on law and on fact, we should be charitable with it so that people can learn.
With the greatest
I'm saying that, hold on.
Some clarity.
Hold on.
This 50%.
Hold on.
You have your point. Please mark it down.
No, it cannot be.
To be an owner of a business,
you must own 50% or more.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
In company law.
Yes. You cannot, if you don't own it, because you can only have a commanding interest. Then you are talking that you own it. That means that you have an interest that overrides that of others. If you have shares, 5%, you don't own the company.
What do you do?
You don't own it.
If you're a partner.
You have an interest. You have an interest. That interest has no overriding effect to the extent that that interest can enable you to take decisions for the company. Because 5%, you are in minority.
Are you saying that minority shareholders in companies don't take
but they are not even the minority shareholders in that company.
Decision-making rights in the company.
They are not the minority shareholders in that company.
Please.
I've spoken.
I've stopped him.
No, I'm saying that I've spoken. My language use is unambiguous, and I'll repeat it without answering your question. 1, if you say somebody owns a company, I am telling you that you are suggesting that the person has more than 50%. That would give you that right, that would enable you take decisions in one way or the other to have effect on the company. You have an overriding power in the company. So at the board meeting, you, the majority shareholder, can override the interest of the minority.
Very well.
2, if you have interest in a company, like say you have 5%, you have 30%, you don't own the company to the extent that your interest in the company will not have overriding effect in terms of decision making. So now I am saying in context, if they come out to say that Data Bank owns enterprise insurance and they say that they have 39%, I disagree. I'm saying that in that case, they are not the owners. You cannot say so, and they can check it. I'm saying this, and I should be quoted. If you say Data Bank owns 39%, so they are the owners, I'm saying that they don't own it. They have interest. If you say they have 51%, yes, you can talk about ownership because they have an overriding interest. So that's for the record. They can check it and come and, rebut me. Now, having put that afore, there is an international company, reputable one for that matter, who is known to this country and is known worldwide as an investment body, institution, that has participated in our bonds. By the way, in his submission, he abandoned the legal or the constitutional argument that he had raised, and I want to address that. When we approve the appropriation bill, we give room to the government to do the general appropriation. So that means that you can borrow on the domestic market. Look, with that approval, government has a discretion to issue bonds, including treasury bills. Now, when people buy treasury bills, they don't come back to Parliament. The government does not come back to Parliament for us to approve it. So you go ahead, because there's a general ceiling that has been approved for you for the financial year. Now, we have so many bonds maturing at the same time with higher coupon rates. Higher coupon rates. They had even gone to the international market to borrow $10.25. $10.25. Now, before this government assumed power, you had treasury bill over 23%. It went as far as 29%. As we speak today, treasury bill is below 20%. We needed money. Government needed money. It has issued a domestic bond. In the domestic bond, the agency of it, it's been open. It didn't say that we are issuing the bond for one company. Your argument is that it should have lasted for 3 days. This is your argument. But you've not rooted it in any regulation. Tell me the regulation in this our financial system that says that a bond must necessarily be open for participation for a minimum of 3 years. Then you can argue and say that, oh, others were not given the opportunity. Or that if you had opened it for a little more time, it is not subscribed. We had several situations. I was on the finance committee. We had several situations within the period 2013 to 2016 that domestic bonds failed. They issued it 24 hours, nobody subscribed. 48 hours, nobody subscribed. 72 hours, nobody subscribed, and they had to reissue. The records are there. It depends on the markets. So if you issue domestic bond, you need a certain amount of money. And within 24 hours, it's been subscribed. Why do you extend? Markets operate 24 hours. People are monitoring.
With a certain dynamic.
Of course. Somebody is monitoring.
And the responses are different. Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that assistance.
Sure.
So you don't, say that you have opened it up. Why didn't you wait? Because you didn't open it for a specific investment group. You open it up to the whole world. If by closure and then you hit the gavel, you say, look, I've gotten X amount. That's what I want. That ends it. So raise the issues for proper debate. If you want to do your normal gallery issues,
you feel that
the politics. Oh, of course they are politicians. Why? If you want to still do your politics, nothing stops you. Now back to the issue of travel. Oh, so somebody look at the link. The company you dealt with, you didn't have a problem with it, but you are saying that one of the directors of that company happened to, coincidentally, was the chairman of another entity. So conflict of interest. I'm not sure they are too serious on this issue of conflict of interest. I'm not too sure.
You don't think so?
No, I'm not too sure they are serious about it.
Well,
no, that's my view.
You not being too sure means that what?
No, that's they really mean the conflict of interest as
they are not serious about it.
I'm not too sure they are serious about it. I've said so. I've said that I'm not too sure they are serious about the issue of conflict of interest as raised by them, because they know that there are a number of shareholders of enterprise insurance. It's the shareholders who put together their board, including the chairman of the board. And it isn't Data Bank. In any event, Ken Oforiatta retired long ago from Data Bank.
But still has interest.
Come on. It doesn't mean
retired from active service from Data.
No, but so if you have an interest in
it's a funding partner.
No, you are talking about conflict.
He may not be working as Data Bank.
Hold on. We are talking about conflict of interest.
Yes, sir.
We must establish the elasticity. Other than that, nobody can do any business. We can today say that Roland, you are a consultant, or you are an inactive officer of another entity. Hence, you're sitting here amount to conflict. Then we will raise issues and we will never end it. Why? Donald Trump is a president of the United States. He has a lot of business interests. Okay? To the extent that there's disclosure, to the extent that you cannot establish that direct.
Was there disclosure of any sort, if there was?
No. I'm making a general.
You are building a.
Yes, I'm making a general argument here. So don't come and create one when you have the man's CV. You know, well, and then you are now trying to say that his wife is a director.
Your point has
so
been.
you want to now play politics with it.
Are you saying that as finance minister,
yes,
his wife is a director of Enterprise Group, in which a company he was formerly related to has an interest per your description and what the law says, company law says? If the finance minister sees that a company that perhaps has taken over a chunk of the bonds that were issued by the government of Ghana locally seems to have that interest in the company that remotely he was formerly affiliated to, as per the structures, shouldn't anybody be raising any concern of conflict?
Who participated in the bond?
Well, we have various entities. There are financial houses.
No, I'm talking about, in this particular instance, who bought the majority of the bonds?
Well, we're told that it's Templeton.
Templeton. Now, is Templeton owned by Trevor? He's not a shareholder. He's a non-executive director. He's not an executive director of Templeton.
Very well.
He's not a shareholder of Templeton.
But he's an interested member of Templeton.
There is nothing like an interested member. What is your definition of interested?
He's a non-executive member of the company.
No, what is your?
Does he have an interest in Templeton?
Are you saying that? Are you saying that he is a shareholder of Templeton?
No, I'm not saying he's a shareholder. He's a non-executive
director. He's not an executive director.
Are you saying he doesn't have any interest at all?
It has not been stated so. The fact haven't said so.
Are you saying a non-executive director of any legal entity doesn't have any interest as to how the company for which he is a non-executive member conducts his business?
No, don't say. I mean, don't direct the question that way. Let's navigate.
You want me to structure the question based on how you want it to
No, not at all. Let's navigate around the issue raised by the minority. The minority's contention is that there was a conflict of interest. And how did they draw the link? They said the Attorney General is a member of Enterprise Group. And I've this morning said they are wrong because the Attorney General is not a member of the board of Enterprise as we speak.
It's a non-executive member.
No, not a non-executive. She is not a director. The person seems to be a director upon her assumption of duties as Attorney General.
Very well.
So you cannot say that the person is. That is wrong. You are also saying that the mere fact that the chairman of the board of Enterprise Group is a member of the board, is a member of the board, of Templeton, you have, let me use they put a phrase together that they have put it together and it's apparent. How can you use apparent inference to suggest conflict of interest?
You're saying it's circumstantial.
This is exactly what they have said.
I'm asking, are you saying that because they use
I want to use their word, apparent. So you are not drawing, you see, you are not drawing a direct nexus to suggest so. You are saying, oh, with all stories, we think somebody is linked. Come on. What is the issue? The issue is that today, the bond issue has brought rates down. Today, government has space to run government machinery. That is the issue. Don't try to find fault where there's none.
First of all, in markets, you cannot say that I wanted 2 billion, I've gotten it and I've closed it.
You mean in the market?
It's not done anyway.
Okay.
What kind of finance decision would that be? We've gone to the Eurobond before. We got offers and rejected them. And said that no, we don't accept. No, we even said that we will not do it because the rate at which we are getting is not favorable. The domestic bond is talking about. When we open and we don't get a good offer, we don't take it. It's like you go to the market, you want to buy a Land Cruiser. You meet the first person, says the Land Cruiser is $100,000. You say, oh yes, I'm looking for a Land Cruiser, I've got it, so I'll buy and go. It's not done that way. You test the market and you do a trend analysis. You and I know the inflation is coming down.
But we also know the way markets around the world work.
So you do a trend.
It's a subscription basis.
Yes, so you do a trend.
And then when you have when you have the right percentages in terms of what the interests are.
I'm saying that 19.7 for 15 years is not the right percentage. And I stand by that.
What's the minimum
you could have gotten a better?
What's the minimum we've ever gotten for domestic?
You get what I'm saying? You could have gotten a better one. Oh, please.
Roland, ask the right questions.
You want to be the host? When you were
for talking, 8 years, what was the minimum?
I started interjecting. You said no.
Oh, no, at least you did one.
You said no. So you've done one, so keep quiet. Let me make my
answer
point.
That one.
Let me make my point.
Okay.
So
what's the minimum they got for 8 years?
Okay,
no, he's decided to. And you are not interested.
Tell us. You know it. What was the minimum?
No.
Tell us.
So you continue. You continue with your.
If you know, tell us. We're here. I'll give you the tell us the minimum.
You continue with your argument.
So I'm saying that if we had given other investors the opportunity and not open it and close it within 1 hour, we probably would have gotten something better. And the indicators are clear. Inflation has been on a downward trend since 2016 and it's been coming down.
For which you should be grateful to the MPP government for
that. Yes.
Who?
Go and check. January inflation was around 13. Check. The records are there.
True.
Put in place prudent measures. It's not as if the inflation was rising. MPP came and all of a sudden inflation started coming down. Inflation was on a downward trend.
From 2016, you said?
Yes. The rates, the coupon rates and all that, they were coming down. So we see very positive indicators. The currency was stabilizing and even gaining strength against some currency. By the end of 2016, the currency had gained strength against the British pound.
But it's also because a lot of things were happening in the European and the British market.
That is how markets operate.
Good.
Markets do not operate in isolation.
And that's how the bond market and the capital market also operate.
That is one side. That is one. Two is this issue of travel. Nobody in this press conference said that the Attorney General is still a director. We said that as at the end of 2015 when we checked, these were the directors. And we mentioned them. So please.
But is that not being mischievous? Why not say the reality as it is?
That's what we have checked.
Okay.
That's the information available. And what he said is clear. We have not categorically said that there's conflict of interest situation.
Thank you.
That's a fact. We've said that based on this pronouncement, we would not be irresponsible. We'll be very responsible. Look,
so now you're saying it's not a conflict. It's not potential.
We said potential, and we stand by that. And we need further investigation.
Potential?
Yes, because of the trend, because of the linkages, because of the association, we need to conduct further investigation. Ibrahim Mahama, our current president, accused then President Mahama of practicing family and friend business. Ibrahim Mahama is not the sole owner of Engineers and Planners. By my good friend's assertion, he's only a shareholder. So if Engineers and Planners goes to do a job, is Ibrahim Mahama the one doing the job? Is there conflict of interest? Yet, the so-called committee that investigated America sought to bring Ibrahim Mahama in the whole equation and says that the president's brother, the this and that. So when it's NDC, that's conflict of interest. When it's MPP, it's not conflict of interest.
So you're saying they're trying to justify something that you suspiciously, you think
we can't do this.
could have gone wrong in some ways.
We are saying that.
But you're speculating still.
There are
because
so
you're saying
many
it's potential.
So many issues that do not gel. We would not
even
make
if
a
the entity
categorical
had been participating in our bonds, and according to what I read and the literature,
engineers and planners
the literature
have
I've come
business.
across, they've been doing business with us since 2013.
Engineers and planners has been doing business in Ghana since the 90s with government, since the 90s. Yet, our colleagues find it a problem that engineers and planners.
So your press
continue
conference
to do
is
business.
just merely based on equalization?
No. Unlike them, we haven't even drawn a conclusion. We are saying that the way and manner in which it was issued, the way and manner in which Trevor got involved, the association between Trevor and Kelekajibo with the Attorney General, with the Minister of Finance, and the wife of the Minister of Finance, we are very worried and disturbed.
Over what?
And every discerning Ghanaian ought to be worried and disturbed about this development.
Why do you say that this seems surreptitiously seem to have been cooked together?
In a clandestine manner, not just surreptitious.
Okay, you said
in a clandestine manner.
Clandestine manner.
Yes.
For
first of all, we are saying that it wasn't open.
But Bank of Ghana did it.
Oh, please.
So that's okay. We know there are also Barclays, Stanchart, and all that.
No, I'm saying Bank of Ghana hosted the whole thing. It wasn't hosted by Finance Minister. No, the fact must be put out.
So the Ibrahim Mahama one is not the VRA that did it.
So you are saying that there could be Kululu in this?
I did it.
You are saying there could be Kululu.
So are you saying Bank of Ghana?
There's potential Kululu in this.
Are you saying that?
Are you saying there's potential Kululu in this?
See, all we want is more sunshine. We want further investigation. We want full disclosure.
Equalization.
That is all we are asking for.
Right.
And unlike our colleagues when they were in opposition,
This is not John I know.
we are saying that let's investigate the matter.
Great.
Let there be full disclosure.
And you want Parliament to do that?
We are petitioning the Speaker.
Great.
We are proceeding further.
You are serious about it?
We are serious about
so
that.
So from the Speaker, you go to where?
On both Ameri and this Brohaha, we are petitioning the Speaker. It was the same with the Ameri.
No,
started with accusations and we eventually got to know all this facts.
Pull the brakes
on
Ameri.
So what we are saying is that, look, let's delve deep into this matter. Let's establish the facts. I mean, if we establish the facts, is that not good for the people of Ghana? I think we should be commended.
Okay. And,
we should be commended.
How will Parliament go about this? If the Speaker is
I don't get to non-jurisdictional matters that necessarily would want to have space. What is their issue? You see, Roland, you are doing some law. If you go to court,
he's doing law, not some law.
I just want to tell Roland that he's not done yet. You should try and finish.
He's doing law.
He's doing some law. He's not done yet. Roland, in way. So let's go on. In way.
Oh, but my different.
Roland, back to the point. I mean, it's good. You see, what is their issue? I mean, all these. Talking plenty and this and the way. What is your issue? You have none. Bank of Ghana, made up of professionals, has hosted a bond. Market has responded. It's been subscribed. We've got a good rates. It's been successful. We are being hailed internationally. And then you, in your domestic politics, you are now saying that, oh, and we will petition. They even said Shraj.
Yes.
They even said Shraj.
Yes,
now they've abandoned Shraj. And it's, I mean, come on. Let's get it to a certain level. That people will say, oh, the opposition is being constructive. We've been there before. We were in opposition.
This is not constructive criticism.
No, are they even criticizing?
Well, they are raising serious scenarios.
Oh, please. No, they
trying
are not.
To draw up.
No. There are no such scenarios. There are no such, when you say apparent. In the press conference, my good brother Atu Forsen says there's conflict of interest. Now the language changes to potential. Really? What are you
There-
saying?
there I can quote
So
you,
they are
please. I can quote you.
they themselves are not up to their game. What exactly are they saying? You say a lot of things and say nothing. I mean, this morning, if you want serious legal debate on facts, raise them. That issue 1, the government did A, B, C, and D. Issue 2, government did A, B, C, then we are talking. But if you come just because we've had a successful bond issuance, you just want to go and then you say a certain Trevor and was a director of enterprise, and we think that if we link this and link that. No. Let's take the politics a bit higher and ensure that we applaud the government when the government does it well. Applaud the government. I ask a simple, relevant question. Which is, in your 8-year rule, what was the minimum you ever got for a domestic bond? What was the minimum?
It's not up for debate.
I said, a simple but relevant.
It's okay.
Because you are raising an issue
That's
here.
not even necessary.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not
To be
necessary.
frank, it's not necessary.
It's not necessary. To
hold
Not
on.
necessary.
Let me tell you
The market
why.
forces
I think I concur with him. Just
It's
not
not
necessary.
necessary. I don't get
I know
it.
you want to.
Let
The
me tell you.
the
let me-
substance of what you're
the
raising.
substance- no,
The
hold on.
substance of what you're raising.
They said, my brother said, if it had been extended, other investors.
But he drew certain
Can I-
scenarios because there are certain indicators within the economy, the fundamentals.
There's some ingredients.
Which, so which were indicating that he thinks, or their side of the political divide think, that if we had waited a bit, based on those indicators going on the downward trend.
Today the city is strengthening.
It's okay.
Would
it's
I
okay.
go and
I was not
invest
saying this
in
for you.
dollars?
Okay, let's move this.
When I
subject.
know the city is strengthening.
The minority apparently
Roland,
had also
Roland,
put
is it your
together
press
pleasure?
conference?
Roland, is it your pleasure? Is it your pleasure not to allow your questions to be answered by moving to other matters?
Oh, are you the
Is
host?
that your pleasure?
Are you the host?
Is that your pleasure?
Are you the host?
If that's your pleasure,
We
let me
have
know.
all the time.
We are raising a serious. I'm saying that in their 8-year rule, and it's relevant. They should tell us the minimum they ever got for a domestic
You
bond.
want to make this a
Because we've had a successful bond issuance. We've got a very good rate.
that is not what they are
way.
raising. Is that,
Oh,
is that
so
it?
they are not interested in the good offer we had? That's not a success story? They are not interested in it?
There's
What good
potential conflict of interest.
No, they are not interested. We've had a successful bond issuance, and that has brought the rates down. And that has positively impacted on the economy.
Because it
is that
means-
not their interest?
It's okay.
No, is that not their interest?
The minority, and this spokesperson on Fine, the deputy minority leader, I believe, James Kluchavage, also addressed a press conference, the same press conference, and they raised a number of issues. Because we know on Easter Monday, we put together a great program headlined by the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in which there were pointers of 103 to 4 achievement of government within its 100 days in office. And well, there was some criticism leveled by the minority side in Parliament.
It is sad to say that for a party that claimed to have the men, they have been struggling to find their feet since that shameful inaugural address. They have so far been unconvincing about their mouth-watering campaign promises. They are not creating jobs for the masses. They are not alleviating hardships. Save for the 110 ministers and deputy apparatchiks. But they are terrorizing Ghanaians by unleashing their several partisan paramilitary forces to achieve parochial ends. As you recall, among other promises in 2016, then candidate Akufo-Addo said he will ensure, 1, absolute free SHS education for all JHS students. The Akufo-Addo Bawumia government has, too early in the day, proven our elders right. Our elders have for a long wisely held that Agrobesor Efri Anopa. Agrobesor Efri Anopa. To which the signs of an enthralling game can be detected right from the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, the early signs of the government of our country under the MPP have been anything but impressive. Instead of an all-action approach towards rolling out their loftily policies and programs, the initial steps in this government, though tentative, give cause for major concern.
James Kluche-Aveji. And John,
Yep.
when did you sample your views that says that the country is that badly managed?
Oh, it's all
Comparatively
over.
to some of the good things that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia talked about on Monday.
Well, maybe we don't have so much time, so I would just go into Dr. Bawumia's press conference or media interaction or whatever you choose to call it. He indicated that they hadn't made any promise of 100 days, but decided that on 100 days he needed to list so-called achievements and came out with so many of them. And so we thought that it was only proper that we put things in perspective. First of all, I think that the Vice President was ill-informed on some issues. He claims the electricity tariffs have gone down following the reduction in the street light levy. Let me put it on record that electricity tariffs have not gone down in their first 100 days. Not even by 1 cent. You can check your bills from January to date, and I'll confirm, and you'll confirm with me that your tariffs have not gone down. On the contrary, I'm getting reports about some people who are seeing an increment in their tariffs.
Where are you getting the reports from?
I've gotten some complaints. I'm working on that. I've decided to use a reckoner.
They're just not
do a trend.
normal mechanical complaints?
That's why I said I'm doing that trend. But let me put on record that, contrary to what Dr. Bawumia said, electricity bills have not gone down in their first 100 days. So it cannot be true. Two, he tries to claim credit for the Hunan and China Water project. I do recall I went to Parliament. We negotiated the agreement, took it to Cabinet, got approval, took it to Parliament, got approval, subsequently signed the agreement. So for Dr. Bawumia to say that in their first 100 days, they've secured financing for Hunan and China Water, it's false.
Got you surprised?
It cannot be true. And the records are there.
I mean, he's lying.
He's a vice president. You know, I was a spokesperson to Vice President Mahama, so I want to give him some respect. But it's inaccurate. It cannot be true. And these are facts. We went for the approval. The MPP even kicked against it, especially with Hunan, because they claimed that Selassie Ibrahim had some connection with Hunan, and so they wouldn't be part of it. So something you claim you won't be part of. How do you come and take that as part of your credit?
You mean in Parliament?
In Parliament. You see, I can read it for you. Dr. Mathiopoko prepared. It came to Finance Committee.
Of which I was a
came,
member?
yes, and explained.
Then we boycotted it?
Please, let me.
No.
Let me.
just
You
for
have your
fact.
turn.
You see, I can read it for you.
Yeah, sure. Please do.
When we went to the committee, I explained everything. The committee was okay with it. Went to the Mines and Energy. The committee was okay with it. When we went to the plenary, that was where the debate ensued. And some members of the MPP strongly kicked against it at the plenary. These are records. I mean, I went there. Hunan, he said that it had been bloated.
And I know that's why you will not say anything.
No, these are facts. I mean, these are not opinions.
Okay.
So I was surprised that he sought to claim credit. Then he talked about the sulfur content. That is not possible. 2 years ago, government took a decision that the sulfur content ought to be reduced to 50. Thermal Oil Refinery complained. You see, what happens is that the BDCs can easily go to any producer and buy at low sulfur content rate. But Thermal Oil Refinery would need to inject about 300 million in their facility. And so they were supposed to start
Before
in
they can
January.
refine.
Yes. When the MPP came, they decided that they would extend it. Then he said that you've come out with a policy to reduce sulfur content, and that's an achievement. That cannot be an achievement. and a litany of them.
You seem very surprised.
Yes, I'm surprised. I think that next time they give the vice president that information, he should double check that. Some of them, even with the issue of the 300 million that he says he saved the nation, that cannot be possible. All we said, and we did the work. We did the work with the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Attorney General's Office, the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Petroleum, and the World Bank. We conducted an extensive research chaired by Jabesh Misata, and we took a position paper to Cabinet. Cabinet adopted it and said that some of the IPPs, some have just taken exploration, some have just taken what you call provisional licenses. Looking at the capacity that we had and what was in the pipeline, we shouldn't continue with them. So I wrote a letter that we should take steps to discontinue them. So if you discontinue, he said that you have come to save the nation 300 million.
But they discontinue. They discontinue. Save the nation 300 million.
I bring you a Land Cruiser. I say, oh, buy this Land Cruiser. It's very nice. Your
scenarios again.
No, I bring you a Land Cruiser.
But they discontinue. Save the nation 300
million.
No,
it cannot be. I bring you a Land Cruiser. You say that no, you are okay with your old vehicle. You won't buy the Land Cruiser. I should hold on. When I'm ready, I'll call. Then you say, I've saved 100,000.
But that's savings. It's not.
No, it cannot be. When you say you've saved,
then you have not injected
it means
new
that there's commitment. There's commitment, and you've been able to pull me out. That means you've saved me that amount. But if I decide not to commit, I haven't bought a car. I'm walking. I say because I didn't buy the car, I've saved myself 300 million. And you see the way he puts it, it's as if he's come to do some magic there and saved it. But that cannot be the case. So some of the things, the nursing fees is talked about, it's been debunked. The France
yeah, they don't pay
airline
fees again.
No, he says 100. I didn't say it.
100 instead of 160.
Instead of, but we pointed out
it's
that
not
it was
true.
100. Oh, we brought documentary evidence when we reduced
those
it to 100.
Receipts.
If you had said that you are no more paying, yes.
Those receipts you brought up.
Yes. If you had said that,
are they authentic receipts?
They're authentic, and you can cross-check. Okay. These are things that you can easily cross-check. Yes, as a government, you might have some achievements.
But you do agree that they've achieved some few things?
Certainly, every government will achieve something.
Okay.
At least what they could have just done was to give us peace. So they will just go about our
But there's no
normalities.
peace in Ghana. Are we in a situation of war?
Go and ask the man the invisible forces dragged on the ground.
Oh, please.
Go and ask the lawyer, the judge. Yes, but these are issues. These are serious issues.
You can do
what happened in the Kintampo waterfalls? They have consent to us. I lost a relative.
Oh, please. What happened at Kintampo was a natural disaster.
Oh, didn't you follow that story?
I know. We
that
did.
It was because the invisible forces went to take over. When it was raining, they should have evacuated them, but they don't have the training.
Okay, I get
and
that.
So it led to that death. That's a serious issue. I've lost a relative. If you lose a relative through such a serious incident, you would understand what I'm talking about. These are serious issues that, look, we shouldn't sweep under the carpet. Yes.
But you create a semblance of an atmosphere of a terrorized country.
My brother, if you're a former minister, you are in your house.
You should have appointed me so that I'll get to empathize
and people come breaking your door.
I should have been appointed so that I'll empathize
breaking your door, harassing your wife in the night. Look, it's a horrifying experience.
It's not palatable.
Look, let's not sweep it under the carpet. It's a major issue. We have no problem if they want to investigate anything. We have no problem if the state wants to check. But the way and manner in which it's conducted is not the best.
John,
at least we can elevate it. So, yes, first 100 days, there's been some broken promises as well.
Broken?
Yes.
You mean they promised but never fulfilled?
Yes, contractors, they promised. That one, another was categorical, that they'll pay them. They haven't paid them. They promised to scrap.
Is it another or is it about the party manifesto?
It's not just about party manifesto. And that will be erroneous.
It's about the utterance too.
It's about what the president promised and what is in the manifesto. And so you cannot hold the party to account just on what is in the manifesto.
Very well.
When President Mills was being held account to reduce fuel prices drastically, it wasn't in the manifesto.
Very well.
But all of us held him that, look, you gave a promise, honor that promise. It's been a lot of broken promises. The energy sector levy is still intact. The VAT on electricity sales is still intact. DKM customers have not been paid. God is love.
It's not in the manifesto.
It doesn't have to be in the manifesto. Okay. President Akufo-Addo made those public pronouncements. He knew they were not in the manifesto, but he made those pronouncements, and his pronouncements are weightier. Okay. We can't just say that he's just
oral manifesto.
If you choose to call it that way,
Right.
but there are oral commitments.
And even the criticism, Mr. Afenyomakin, that some of the things that the Vice President mentioned were just policy intentions, hadn't materialized, for example. You're supposed to reduce all the taxes on imported, the also kind of what you can spare parts.
Yes,
We have to remove CET.
They jubilated.
Yeah. But he said by June it will be done. What do you say to it, Mr. Afenyomakin?
Well, let me give a general response. Our friends in the NDC, as and when they find it convenient, they would attribute a success story now to their supposed good efforts. And if to them something is doubtful or they deem it unsuccessful, they say, oh, they blame the government. How could somebody sit on a public television and say that the president promised contractors that he's going to pay them in 100 days and that he has failed, when the person knows that we have what we call appropriation? A budget is brought, and when that budget is brought, Parliament is supposed to approve it, and then that would give the government the mandate, the legal mandate to make payments. So if somebody says that the president has failed, I mean, obviously you should know that that person is doing politics. Two, if somebody again tells you that, oh, because of inflation, CD is also gaining strength, all because of good measures that were put in place, then you should begin to question that individual why he said that all of a sudden when MPP came, they've not been able to address the issue of the city, because about 2.5 months ago, the city was on a rise. And they said the MPP has come to power. MPP is not able to address it with competence. Today, oh, it was because of the good measures that we put in place. So that is what is impacting positively on the economy.
You are the host. Have I said so?
I am really surprised about the inconsistent approach. The NDC is not saying one thing and sticking to it. It's just picking, at random, and things that by doing so it can discredit the government. I don't think so. The president, the government have spoken of policy intentions. The government has addressed issues that were critical to the ordinary Ghanaian. Free education, that Ghanaian parents were overburdened, and it consistently since 2008 gave assurance that, look, give us the mandate, we would invest in education and make sure that you are relieved in one way or the other. Has it been done? Yes, it has. It is starting with first years in September. Issue of nursing training allowances. We were told that there were no such funds. In fact, that these were given tertiary status, and that it would not be advisable, policy-wise, to give them allowance. And in fact, we had the president at the time saying that if by denying them, he would even lose elections, he should lose elections, he doesn't mind. That is what President Mahama said. Today, we've honored that promise to Ghanaians. Teacher training allowances have been restored. Nursing training allowances have been restored. In fact, for the first time, those who completed last year have been given postings. People are being posted. Yet we had a backlog. For over 3 years, we were told that they could not post them. Graduates, nursing trainee graduates are being posted. Last week, some of them went to their posts. So what are they talking about? If you were given 10,000 and you felt that 10,000 was too small, somebody is even reducing taxes. So the person is even getting about 8,000, yet he's able to do many things because of prudent measures being put in place. So give that government space. I will not repeat it, but it is relevant for our discussions. You had borrowed at a compound interest, and there was a failure.
Which borrowed at a compound interest? Who borrowed?
You
At the
borrowed.
compound interest.
Okay.
At the compound interest?
Yes.
Which one?
All right. I will
Well, that's not true.
Oh, but have I given you an example? Wait.
Okay.
You borrowed, you issued bonds at a coupon rate, compounded.
No.
At 17.5%.
No. That's
Sada,
not
you borrowed 200 million.
No. It's
You
not
borrowed
like that.
200 million in 2012.
When you borrow, you pay the interest.
Can I?
Then when it matures, you pay the principal. So it cannot
All
compound.
right, sure.
How can it
Sada,
compound?
I'm telling you something of fact. Okay, can I tell you so that you check? Because fortunately now you are a member of the finance committee. In 2012, in November 2012, you borrowed 200 million for the SADA initiative. The interest was compounded. It was said that it was a 3-year coupon, and upon maturity, you were to pay 299 million. So as at November 2015, you paid 299 million. It was a 3-year coupon. You didn't borrow to be paying principal year on year. This is what you did.
No, you don't borrow.
No, this is what you did. It's a matter of fact. Don't dispute that. You paid 299 million. And I'm telling you that the coupon was compounded. We criticize you. It's a matter of fact. And I'm telling you that you did not do anything with that money because you yourself, your ministerial inquiry, okay, implicated the implementation. You said it was unsuccessful.
We're talking about achievements.
No, I'm giving you an example of what they did wrong. Okay? If today we have been successful in issuing domestic bond at a far, far lower rate compared to all you got for 8 years, that's enough. It's enough for you to applaud us.
That's good achievement.
Of course, certainly. You've saved the government over 600 million Ghana cedis. You know what 600 million Ghana cedis? It can build more and more of the day schools that they started, but because of certain reasons they could not finish. 600 million. Do you know how much we are spending on interest payments alone? It's over 13 billion. That 13 billion could be. So if you prudently manage your economy, you are able to realign and put things right and prioritize. You can achieve a much more success story for people to benefit from the government. So these are things that you should look at rather than coming to attack Bawumia, and Bawumia said this, and this is what we started, and we could not finish, so it's already there. Why? When the thing fails, you attack the government. So they should dwell on facts. That is my problem I have with the NDC. They don't argue on facts.
Really? They just raise the issue about Templeton. You said it's not fun.
I think that
you put him to the
Alexander Afenyo-Markin is a member of parliament for Efutu. He's also a legal practitioner. And John Jinapo is a member of parliament for Yape Kusoko.
He's run away from the Bawumia story and he's going to Sada and go. Let's deal with the issues.
I will. Why is that the minority leader didn't address a press conference?
The minority leader traveled and just had to join us when we had started.
Oh, okay. And
it's good. I mean, why? It shouldn't be only the minority. Atufosun read a press conference in respect of the bond issue. If there were energy issues, I probably
I'm told that there's a certain trend. He doesn't seem to be addressing your press conferences. Is it true?
He does.
Oh, okay.
He does. Oh, he does. He's a very dynamic minority leader. He does.
From AM Talk. Thanks, my guest. Thanks for joining me. Well, we're finished.